Alright, so I just got done with snow removal here today on March 12th. This is Saturday. I figured the roads are clear and they're safe, so I figured I'll take you along. Instead of country roads take me home, we'll do a snowy roads take me home, and you can see the beautiful snow. And it's starting to snow again because I guess another band of excuse me, snow is coming through for a couple hours, and then a wind's coming through pretty significant, so there'll be a lot of drifting. So, but this is it's a safe run. Otherwise I wouldn't do something like this. But I figured you can see the beautiful, it's just sticking to the trees and everything, and it's just be a pretty drive. But actually the snow removal was pretty easy. We were a little disappointed because we sort of thought, okay, snow's done, and then this other band is coming through, which I don't think we'll have to go back out again and do anything, which would be nice. But our landscaping that we were originally going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is now gonna wind up going back to like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because there's enough snow on the ground, even with it being in the 60s. I think probably it's going to take Monday and Tuesday just to melt away, and then it won't be too sloppy on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. So, but bringing along people having fun shoveling their snow, because everybody has fun shoveling snow, of course. It was actually a pretty easy day. Really wasn't a whole lot of plowing that had to be done, and a little bit of snow blowing, a little bit of shoveling. It actually worked out pretty nicely. Make a little money on the side then, which I'm always happy with. But quick turn those off so it's not making the stinky noises. I'm going to take you through. I normally would turn on 934. We'll go into Annville where we did the town square video. We're actually going to go through because on the other side of Annville, some really pretty trees down through there. Used to line both sides of the street, but the one side got taken out, and also when they put the rudders in, they sort of took them out of there. But you get to see Annville in the snow. And it's like one of those homes here. There's a stone home over there, and there's a stone home there. One of those was the toll house for was originally known as the Allegheny Path back in the 1700s, and then as you get into Annville, it was known as Market Street. Eventually became Main Street, but it was a toll road for a decent amount of time, and one of those houses operated as a toll house. A lot of history through here. You come up here shortly where they'll have the sign for the historic district on the east side of Annville, where they have an area called, I believe, Professor's Row, which was some of the nice homes made by the professors of Lebanon Valley College. And then you have the really stately homes, which were owned by some of the well-to-do merchants, which this is one of the first ones here. I believe it's the Aaron Kreider home, and he was the Kreider family, which was quite a mercantile type family. They had a lot of shoe factories and things like that, but I had to look exactly what the house numbers are. There's some pretty houses over there as well, but you just see like the snow on the trees and just how beautiful it is. It really is just so pretty. Can't stand winter, I'll admit that. Don't like it anymore because I don't like being cold, but seeing the snow on that is just, when the first snows come down like this, just beautiful this time of year. Really pretty church here. I believe it's a United Methodist church, and then St. Mark's Lutheran Church is across the street there. Lebanon Valley College is back over there, and over here we have the famous Allen Theater, which started as, it didn't start as the Hippodrome. I had said that in one of my videos, but it was actually started as something else. I forget what I saw it was, but this is the square, well, as it looks today. We did so much right in this area, and then all these famous homes and inns and all these different things. And this is the area here that's considered more so the square. Have the clock there. That used to be I don't know, my brain just went dead, but it was a really cool place. Kettering's Corner, and you had a little gas station there. And then here's Cliff's sister's antique shop. She's open yet, and just all kinds of really cool. This is an old inn. I believe that was the Washington House. And you have the old log cabin coming up here that was built, I believe, in there's the Purple House that Cliff and I visited. But you have the old log cabin house, which was sort of pretty much what a lot of the houses looked like back then. It had that same, like, the colonial feel. And then here's some of the first brick homes operated as several different businesses. And I'll try to get as good of a view here, but you're probably not going to get a very good view. But back there's the old mill, Brandt's Mill. That was built by Andrew Miller. Earliest time like anything was in written publication on it was 1752 in the Pennsylvania Gazette. And I talk about this a number of times, the quarry, whether this is the original quarry or not that Andrew Miller had owned. It's off here to the left, and you can see it's like a sort of a deep pit. That's the quarry, I believe, that a lot of that early limestone was taken from. A lot of history. Coming up on 300 years. That's a great place, Loudermilk's Meats, to get, if you're in the area, to get like deli. Really, really neat place. Been around for a while. The family that owns it is really, they're cool people. Let me get on my brakes here a little bit, because it's starting to drift now, which makes it not so safe, but very few and far between where that's happening right now. But it is going to get pretty bad here shortly, because I'm glad I'm getting home right before all this sort of goes down the toilet, because they say it could get as much as 2 inches an hour, and then it's going to have this wind, like 45-mile-an-hour gusts and stuff like that, and it's just going to be rotten conditions throughout the rest of the evening and the night. And over there is Millard Den, which is the mansion of the individual who owned Penzeys Supply. They have some offices in there. There's the mansion, and back further is the old Carriage House, because they used to keep the automobile, like the garages. Now it's commonplace, obviously, we have our garages connected to our house. Back then, that wasn't the way it was. They just, you know, the vehicles would blow up and things like that, so they didn't want that up against their house. But here are the pretty trees they used to line. They used to line both sides along here. This is Route 422 going into, we're coming up to Palmyra here shortly. And then I'll wind out making a left. I'm going on Forge Road. It might be Old Forge Road, but it's like 117 or something like that, Route 117. But yeah, there used to be all kinds of like farms and stuff like that all along here. Here's a bunch of the stone houses that had to do with the original quarry operations. Not a ton of them exist anymore. A lot of them get torn down, but Penzeys Supply is pretty good about leaving a lot of those up. Some of them eventually had to come down just because they weren't used for anything, and over time and not being maintained, they just fall apart and then they become unsafe. But for the most part, a lot of those still exist. This is the Walmart from 1747, built by Jebediah Walmart. It's not true. I'd be fibbing. We're coming up shortly here on the outskirts of Palmyra. But yeah, they said it's going to be like whiteout conditions, and I can definitely see that's it's starting. So I'll be happy I'll make it back to the farm before that happens. I gotta get some wood together and some buckets, because I don't need a whole lot, but it's gonna get pretty chilly and windy, so I don't want to be too cold. Watch some movies, maybe play some video games. I like playing Risk on my computer. Relax a little bit, do some more research on some different videos. Spend my time wisely. I try to. That doesn't happen very often. I'm usually frivolous with my time. This is an area here I talk about the sinkholes. You're having trouble with this road, kept on sinking. And over there next to the bowling alley is a saloon called the Sinkhole Saloon, which is aptly named, being that was an area that they kept on having problems with. They keep on going back like every 6 to 8 months and then closing the road down, refilling, and they finally, however they did it, they think they have it fixed now, but they couldn't get the federal grants to do what needed. I think it was in essence building a bridge underground over top of that thing, so the solid pieces of rock it would sit on, and then the areas that would constantly fall apart and make sinkholes, it would go basically in essence over, but it'd be under the ground. It's sort of a pretty cool concept, but my friend Ralph always jokes that it's the sinkhole capital of the world, and not sure whether it's true or not that they have to get sinkhole insurance or something like that in this area, but I wouldn't be shocked. You know, there's certain areas at the floodplains and stuff like that where you have to get flood insurance, just because the likelihood of having an event like that happen is so much more likely. So I wouldn't be shocked in this area if that's sort of something that would be essential to have just in case it happens. It's not like they're breaking open all over the place, but it is common to see sinkholes happen in this area. You see how the trees are just coated with the snow. And this is Old Forge Road. We're at the elementary school. Just a real pretty drive coming through here in a wintry wonderland. This is something like I would have liked to have done around Christmas, and then COVID happened and all that nutsy stuff happened. I wanted to do a lot more holiday Yuletide type tales, and it's like it just didn't happen. Go around, take you guys around to see Christmas lights and stuff like that, and it just got brutalized by the COVID. But feeling pretty decent now. I've handled the last couple days of work really, really well. The walking's going really, really well, so I'm happy. It's just if I can get rid of this awful cough and the breathing issues, I'll be a new man. Won't be quite like the $6 million man, maybe the $6.32 man, but I'm getting there. Just take in all the snow. No more shoveling. Yep. Route 117. I knew it was something like that. That goes through, you continue straight across 322, and I take that out to go to like Mount Joy area. I do some jobs out there for myself, landscaping and whatnot, and really pretty drive out through there. I'll have to take you through there at some point. The cool little villages like Lawn in that area. Yes, the town is actually called Lawn, but neat area. Here you can definitely see the drifting quite a bit there. But we'll do through past the airport, which is coming up here on the right. Got a chance. Josh's one friend Darren flies, and it had been a long time since my dad had been a pilot. And he used to fly. Like, I never flew with my dad as the pilot, maybe once or twice, but his friend Joe, we used to call him Uncle Joe, the last time I flew was with him, and I always enjoyed going up in those Piper Cubs and Cessnas. And his friend Darren took I think it was a Piper Cub, might have been a Cessna that he took us up in, and we flew out of this airport and then flew down to Lidditz, and that was quite the cool event, getting up there and then seeing, you know, everything, the lights and all that. That was pretty neat. Get to see the towns and how just everything's spread out underneath you. Landing was slightly terrifying because he had to do what's called a slip, where you had to sort of lose altitude quickly to be able to land, and it had started to snow and stuff like that, so that was slightly terrifying. And if you're not entirely ready for the slip maneuver, it can scare the crap out of you because you feel like the ground's being like dropped out from underneath you. You know, I knew what he was doing, but it was still sort of that moment of like terror, like I'm gonna die. So with that, I will say thank you for coming along. This is Snowy Roads, Take Me Home, and we will see you guys on our next adventure, and we'll see y'all about town. Thanks, everybody.